Hi here, Finns here, I'm back for another video, and today I am so excited because I'm going to be reviewing, first of all reacting, then reviewing to the running order for both semi-finals at Eurovision Song Contest 2021, starting off with the first semi-final. Been waiting 2 years to do this video. I've been waiting 2 years for this to happen again, so I'm really looking forward to this. I know it's just a running order, I'm getting excited, but it feels like the competition's really beginning now, and I'm so excited. Oh, I'm just so nervous and excited at the same time, seeing where my favourite's going to be. Oh, I hope none of my favourites get killed by the running order. Okay, so this is the first semi-final we're starting off with. So my prediction before I see this running order is that I think the running order will go like this: Australia, North Macedonia, Russia, Sweden, Slovenia, Ireland, Lithuania, Israel, Romania, Cyprus, Ukraine, Norway, Azerbaijan, Croatia, Belgium, and Malta will be closing it. I don't know if that will be the running order, but I've got my fingers crossed I got most of them right. Here we go. Pressing play. Oh, here we go. Let's see what the running order is. First one. Lithuania will be opening. Lithuania is opening. One of the favourites to open. But they could survive it. They could definitely survive it. So that's who will be following them. Would it be another woman? Maybe Slovenia. Slovenia. Ooh, number 2. Oh, I'm happy it's not North Macedonia. Somebody had to get it. Stop. Slovenia, so who will follow them? Russia, I got that right. I got the number 3 spot. They could easily survive the number 3 spot. Easily, it's Russia at the end of the day. Yes, there you go. Okay, so who will follow them? I'm so serious about this. Sweden, number 4, I got that right. They are putting Sweden slightly early in the running order. It'll be very interesting to see how they will do Sweden, coming on after Russia. So who will follow Sweden? Australia in number 5. I thought she would open it, but she's not. She's coming after Sweden, which is very interesting. So who will follow after Australia then? North Macedonia. Vasil. Oh, I'm happy he didn't get the number 2 spot. Maybe there's a bit more of a chance for this song now. So I think Ireland must be number 7, surely. Oh, I'm happy they put Ireland on the last one in the first half. I predicted that when I reacted to this song for the first time, thinking, oh, I think this will get the number 10 spot, and it has. I'm happy she's got a late slot in the first half. And coming on after North Macedonia, not a big contender, might help it a little. Cyprus, number 8, that's very interesting. Putting a big contender on quite early on in the second half. That is very interesting. Who will follow after Cyprus? Norway! Oh, they're getting rid of all the men first! Wow, I was expecting them to put Norway on a little bit later on in the semi. So it does mean we're going to have a lot of women perform late in the semi-final. Very interesting that. Coming on after Cyprus. Oh, the Devil and the Angel. Wow.
Croatia, number 10. I would have liked that to be a little bit later. They always put Croatia up nearly early on in the second half. It's very interesting. But coming after the race could be quite nice. Tick tock. But who will follow after Croatia?
Belgium, number 11. So it's been female pop ballad. It was fun. This is very interesting. Running order. I'm not getting any right. Who will follow after Belgium? You're in the wrong place. Israel, number 12. Will come after Belgium. Yeah, this is not bad. I was worried they might be quite early on in the second half, but they're in the middle. Oh yeah. I might be near a break as well.
Romania will be number 13. Quite possibly maybe near a break now. Maybe they'll have the break maybe between 12-13 or 13 between 14. They usually have 2 breaks in semis. Romania. A little bit later on for Romania. Who's number
14, Azerbaijan. Not to hurry. Good spot for Azerbaijan. Near the end of the semi for them. So who will close it? It's between Ukraine and Malta. I think Malta will close it. Yeah, 15, Ukraine. Quite good spot for them near the end of the semi. They kind of needed that to be quite late on. I guess who's closing it? That's our list. And I got it right, Malta! Destiny Chikanyera is closing it. I'm so happy she's closing the semi. They really deserve to close it. Not your baby! Shumakes. Oh, this is a very interesting running on this. A lot of women, a lot of female vocals near that end. Very interesting running order. They didn't want to spread the men out. This is... wow. This is very interesting. Yeah, what a running order. What a running order. I am looking forward to it. Wow. Okay, now it's time to do the review on it. Oh. Right, change of clothes, change of scenery. So yes, now it's time for the review part of this video, and now it's been a few hours now. I've taken it all in, and so this is to recap. The running order for the first semi-final will be opening the show off with the Rup discotheque from Lithuania, followed by Slovenia, Russia, Sweden, Australia, North Macedonia, and Ireland. Then in the second half we have Cyprus, Norway, Croatia, Belgium, Israel, Romania, Azerbaijan, the Ukraine, and closing the show off will be Destiny Chikanyera from Malta, Shumakes. It's okay, it's a running order for the first semi-final, as you can clearly see behind me. So first things first. Let's talk about the show opener. Lithuania is opening the show. I have to say, this is a good opener, I have to say. The Rup are one of the fan favourites, one of the bookies' favourites, so it does feel a little bit of a surprise they're opening, I guess. I guess in both semi-finals they're really opening the show with both big contenders, I guess. But I guess you're going to start the party off with a bang, you know. I mean, there have been semi-finals before where I've gone, I was thinking, oh, come on, when's the big contenders about to perform? You know what I mean? Like, and I saw that kind of in 2019, the last contest, you know, especially in that second semi-final where you kind of know the songs that had to perform early, you know, you kind of understand what songs they want to see qualify and what songs they don't want to see qualify, like when they put the running order together.
the people behind that. So it is quite nice and refreshing to see quite a lot of, actually seeing a lot of big contenders and a lot of actually quality songs on early, then having them later on. That includes Lithuania. I think Lithuania is going to be a good show opener. I think it will draw people in. You need to start the party. You need to start the party off with a bang, and that's what Lithuania does. I don't think going on first is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. You need to, you need to start the party off with something. You don't want to put people to sleep. You want people to feel awake. You want to draw people in. I feel like if you're gonna open the first song always has to draw you in. And you know what, Lithuania has a diaspora, so you could put them anywhere really. And also, if you perform early on in the semi-finals, then if you qualify, you're probably going to get a much later slot in the grand final. And that's a good thing about going early on in a semi-final. But in any case, let's go to the opposite side and see who's closing the show. It's called Malta. I got this right. I think this is a really good choice. I really had my fingers crossed that Malta was going to close the show, and I'm very happy. I think it's a good choice to close the show. I think people would wait to see Destiny. I think semi-finals are can mainly be Eurovision fans, and a lot of people know Destiny, has been on a journey with Destiny, so people would want to wait to the end of the semi-final and watch Destiny perform. I think this is also good for even the country of Malta, who usually struggles to get points from the televotes every year. And because they're on last, this really helps them to get points from the televote. I think this is a really good position for Malta. Really is. So yes, really, really good position. I mean, you could put her anywhere, but this, I think she's a really good show closer. You know. In any case, let's go through this running order. Right, let's go to the first half. There were there were technically 8 countries drawn out. It's supposed to be in the first half, but obviously there was one country that went into a few controversies and not here, so we won't talk about that country. So there are now only 7 countries that have been now drawn from the first half. A very interesting 9 countries have been drawn out in the second half of the first semi-final. So let's go through the first half. We've got Lithuania, Slovenia, Russia, Sweden, Australia, North Macedonia and Ireland in that first half. I gotta say, I'm a little bit worried for Slovenia. The number 2 spot is always quite a tough position to get out of. And I do feel quite bad for Anna, because not only is she performing in the number 2 spot, but the songs that she's surrounded by. She's coming on after Lithuania and before Russia. 2 songs, I mean, that are probably got a much stronger chance of qualifying. I always say that it's always hard to get out of that first half in any semi-final. You've got a better chance of qualifying if you are from the second half than the first half, especially when that first half has got Lithuania, Russia, Sweden, Australia, which have never failed to qualify. It's going to be a tough order for Slovenia to get out that semi now. Looking at that running order, she's really relying on a lot of jury support to save her, and a lot of ex-Yugoslavic and neighbouring voting to help. I think I worry for Slovenia. Russia they put on 3rd. And usually also, same with the number 2 spot, getting the number 3 spot has always been cursed, because that's also not an easy position to get out of the semi-finals from. But I think Russia could survive it. Russia could survive it. They have a strong song that I can easily see people remembering it when the voting opens. I'm sounding so posh, I don't know why tonight. I'm over excited, but no, I think the televoters will still remember it. It's not going to be a performance you are going to easily forget. How can you forget Manesia with Russian Woman when the voting opens? My concern is how the jury will obviously vote for Russia. But, you know, juries don't factor in running order, so, you know. Sweden coming on fourth, a little bit early. People, you know, sometimes Sweden can get late draws, you know, but they're quite in the middle of the first half. I think this was fair. I think this is a fair draw. I think I'm happy where Sweden is. And then you've got Australia coming on after Sweden, which is also another interesting one. You know, is kind of cursed, because usually whoever follows Sweden in the running order usually doesn't qualify. Oh yeah, in 2019, who came on after Sweden? Austria, that got nil point in the televote. In 2018, Montenegro was on after Sweden, didn't qualify. 2017, Georgia was on after Sweden, didn't qualify. They were hosting 2016. Switzerland 2015, they had to perform after Sweden. Only got 4 points and came last, sadly. So it can be a bit of a curse. The number 4 spot, Sweden. However, this year though, I kind of feel worried for a little bit about Sweden's song, actually. In between Russia and Australia. Yeah, I actually kind of worried a little bit about Sweden, how they will fare with the televote. Because they don't have that many neighbours apart from Norway. And maybe they might get some few points from Australia, but apart from that, that is going to be interesting to see how Sweden really does. Obviously, they're in the number 4 spot. Sanja Nielsen had the kind of similar spot at number 4 in her semi-final. So, and she came second in her semi-final. So anything can happen. I've got to say, I'm really happy North Macedonia. They didn't. I was worried were going to give North Macedonia the number 2 spot, and it's ended up being the number 6 spot. So it's nice that they've given North Macedonia a better chance of qualifying, because I think I would have worried if they had the number 2 spot. Ireland on 7. I'm really happy that they gave Ireland a later slot this year. I think considering poor Sarah McTurnan getting the number 2 spot in 2019 and not even getting 22 points in a semi-final, I think this is justice for Ireland. So let's go now to the second half. Cyprus is an interesting one. I would thought they would have put Cyprus on a little bit later. That is very interesting. I really thought they would put Cyprus quite later on. And then you got Norway. What's very interesting about this running order, and I think a lot of people have mentioned it, that Norway Tix is the only male vocalist in this second half, and yet he's been put on song number 9. So from song number 10 to song number 16, the last 7 songs in that semi-final, in that second half, are all female vocalists. That's very weird, very strange thing to do. I was really thinking they were going to put Norway on about 12th or 13th, somewhere in the middle of that second half, but clearly not. That is quite an interesting one. And a lot of people also pointed out Cyprus and Norway together in the running order, the devil and then the angel. That's very interesting. They've done that way, I've got to say. Yeah, and then you got Croatia in number 10. I would have liked that a little bit later on, but it's Croatia surrounded by Norway and Belgium, 2 ballads, could make it stand out. Then you got Belgium in number 11, Israel number 12, Romania in 13, Azerbaijan in 14, the Ukraine in 15th, and Malta in 16th. So yes, I would. They usually have 2 breaks in a semi-final. So where will the ad breaks be? Because that could be crucial. I would say the first ad break will be around somewhere near North Macedonia. Somewhere near song number 6, either between 5 or 6 or 6 or 7. And then the second break probably will be between 12 and 13, or maybe 13 and 14. Somewhere near Romania, just before or after Romania, is my prediction. Anything else I want to talk about this running order? Ukraine going on second to last is also quite interesting. I think that does help them out a little bit, because they've had a mixed response from their revamp, and I think this does help it, and Ukraine usually does bring staging to the contest. I'm quite glad they didn't decide to put Ukraine on last. I'm quite relieved a little bit about that, and we did get Malta to close the show. Yeah, I mean, Ukraine has got a 100% track record, so you never know. But will juries vote for Ukraine song? Who knows? Yeah, Azerbaijan 14 has usually been actually quite, if you believe in superstition, that's actually quite a good number to get. Apparently number 14 is a really good slot to get, and it's quite near the end of the show. Is there any countries I'm quite worried about? I'll say Slovenia, number 2 spot. I'm slightly worried about Slovenia. I'm actually quite worried about Norway, actually. They put them on quite early on in the second half. And you know, it is the last male vocal, and which is good, but it is between Cyprus and Croatia, so, and it's quite a while until people start voting, and that the Norway song is getting a lot of mixed response. People think it might not qualify, some people think it might qualify. I don't know, I think it could have benefit on being a little bit later on in the draw. And Cyprus, I'm also a little bit worried about. They put them on quite early on in the second half, getting number 8. But I guess somebody had to get the number 8 spot. And look, usually, you know, if you get drawn quite early on in the second half, it does look like the producers don't want to see you qualify. But maybe, you know, Greece did qualify, being the first song in that second half in 2017, so who knows, it would be nice to see something like that happening again. Doesn't mean they're not going to qualify, but yeah, so who has benefited the most from the draw? I think Ireland has got a really good spot. I think not coming on after a big contender. No shade to North Macedonia. North Macedonia I actually quite like. I think it's really underrated, but it's not a big contender. So that's good news for Ireland, that they didn't have to follow like a Sweden or Russia or Lithuania. I think that's good, and I hope Leslie has good staging. And yeah, I think Ireland's good. Obviously Malta is in a really good position. Ukraine, Azerbaijan. Yeah, those, I would say the last 3 are in really good positions. I think it's always obviously a good thing when we perform near the end of the show. And yeah, I think that is the running order for semi-final 1. Who's going to be a contender to win the semi-final? Malta. I think could be I think she's got a really good chance, Destiny, to win the semi-final. I was thinking Lithuania could win the semi-final, but they are putting them on first, which they could still. I wouldn't rule it out. Who else could win the semi-final? You know, maybe Azerbaijan could win the semi-final. You never know. It's really, tough. But I'm putting my money on Malta to win the semi-final. who knows, maybe Ireland might surprise us all and do really well, because that is very jury friendly and a lot of positivity around that song, so that could be a big surprise to people. In any case, that is my lowdown of the first semi-final running order. It is quite an interesting running order overall. I think they've got the first half right. I think the first half of the running order is really good. The second half, I would put Norway in the middle of that second half, but apart from that, it's actually a decent running order, and I think that they've done the best they could do it with that running order, and they've kind of separated all the female bops quite well, I would say. It's one female bop within a ballad and one female bop within a ballad. In any case, what did you think of the running order for semi-final 1? Comment down below in the comment section below, like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will be back for more content very soon. Until then, goodbye people, goodbye! Oh, now the next thing, of course, it's who's going to qualify. Oh, I'll do another video on that, don't you worry. Until then, goodbye people, goodbye.